All right, guys, in this video, we're talking about VST plugins for OBS as part of the OBS Superuser Guidebook. VST plugins allow you to enhance the audio for any source in OBS, so let's take a look. What's up, guys? Really quickly, wanted to remind everybody you can get a free copy of the OBS Superuser Guidebook in the links below. This book is available on Amazon if you'd like a paperback. And wanted to remind everybody to like this video if you want to see more content like this. And if you haven't subscribed already, only about 10% of our viewers are subscribed. It means a lot to us. You'll be able to keep up with all the new videos we're making. You won't become a video production expert overnight, so we could do this all together. And if you have any questions along the way, let us know in the comments below. All right, so we're gonna take a look at the Reaper FM. They're called plugins. They're a VST plugin suite, and they include a long list of great plugins. We've got a compressor, which is really configurable. You can get it to really make your audio sound great. Compressors can make your audio sound more robust. They can stop you from being too loud. They kind of push down on your audio, and it's a great plugin for OBS to make your audio sound better. Then we have Comp, which is a band compressor. This has really great sound filters, and we're going to take a look at how you can choose individual bands of audio and compress them. So that's really nice. We have Delay, which allows you to do up to 10 seconds of delay. And because this is a audio plugin and it's a filter, we can toggle filters on and off using the filter hotkeys plugin we'll talk about in an upcoming video. So that's an interesting one there. We get a full EQ, and there is no real EQ tool inside of OBS by default. So we'll talk a little bit about how to use an EQ, and we'll look at doing that. Then we have the FIR, which is a dynamic processor. Now this stuff is pretty advanced, but it has a linear phase mastering EQ and a super effective surgical EQ. So you can really get in there and pinpoint specific areas of the audio that you want to either reduce or increase. Then we've got a great gate, includes sidechain filters. So a gate, of course, allows you to pick a certain threshold and then just remove audio that is below that threshold. So let's start taking a peek at these. We're not going to go into these last three, just the core ones. I already have them installed. Now let's go in here. We're going to hit filters, and we're going to go to audio filters, and we're going to choose VST2. And this gives us a drop-down menu of all of the VST2 plugins that are installed on your computer. Once you install these VST2 plugins, they're available to any software that's interacting with them. So we've got quite a few here. We've got a compressor, but we can see our audio level here. And a compressor, essentially, the big thing with a compressor is the ratio. So compressors are great to make you sound more full, more robust, and avoid peaking. The main adjustment, of course, is the ratio. The higher the ratio, the more the compression will be used to reduce the loudness of your audio. And then we could even, take the threshold down a little bit to, start the compression before you peak. Now, some of these compressors, including this one, have a low pass and a high pass filter. And what that is basically it allows you to choose it's like an EQ where we could say, all right, the high pass is, let's just get rid of everything under 50 hertz and everything over 12,000 hertz. And one of the kind of things I'll explain to you guys, just so you know from a voice standpoint, is that most male voices are 80 to 500 hertz, and most female voices are 175 to 1100 hertz. So as a male, I could probably get rid of everything under 80 and everything over 500 and get rid of a lot of low hums and a lot of high-pitched noises simply by doing that. Now, this is easier done with an EQ. So some of these tools have like a mixture of EQ and compression all in one. Now, again, something that we talked about in the past is that there is such thing as an audio chain. And, we talked about this already, so we don't need to go into a huge amount of detail, but generally it starts with a noise suppression, a gate, an EQ, and then the compressor. So the compressor is usually kind of at the end of the chain. So let's try to do this in the correct order. And by the way, we really should name these what they are. So I'm going to put compressor here, and then this next one, we will do the EQ that's in here. Where is that EQ? Here it is. And we'll open up the EQ. Now the EQ gives us a really good look at what's going on in our audio that's coming in here. So you can see, and I know it's hard to see, but it starts at 0 and goes all the way to 20,000 K. Now, if you're in a room with a fan or any high-pitched noises, some of these noises you might not even be able to hear. You could get rid of some of that high-pitched noise by dragging down something like this. That's called a high shelf. We can get rid of all that noise, because if it's just your voice, you probably don't need that. And then around here, we can do what's called a low shelf. And especially if you're a female, you can get rid of a lot of low audio there. And you can see we have a lot of controls for your EQ. When you're doing this, you really do need to have headphones on so you know what you're doing. But this is pretty advanced stuff, and it's great to see it inside of OBS, but you do need to kind of do some research on how to use compressors and EQ. You need to open your ears, as funny as that sounds, because you need to listen. You can't be playing with this stuff without having headphones on, but it will make you sound a lot better if you do it correctly. Okay, so that's an EQ, and we're going to do our chain properly here. Now, when you're working with an EQ, just so you know, it takes some time to get used to. It's easy to work with the human voice. It's harder to work with like music. Most music, I would imagine, that you're working with has already been EQ'd, right? A professional audio mixer worked with the music that you're maybe playing in your production. So using those best practices for your voice and kind of understanding where voices are is kind of the best tip I can give you guys. So we start with the noise suppressor. This one right here is the EQ. And then at the end of the chain, we put a compressor. So let's put a noise suppressor in. But we do have a gate. And in general, these gates are a little better. Now, the gate looks a lot like the compressor because it's almost the compressor in reverse. So this gate here, what we're looking at is to remove, when we're using a noise gate, it's a simplified version of the expander, and you're trying to set a level of the noise in your audio input that you want to automatically be muted or compressed down so it's not as loud. So you can see here, this is like the level of our audio. So if you're not talking and you've got an open mic, right? The open mic is listening to the room. You get that level of the room noise and you raise your threshold over here to where you're trying to get rid of that room noise, that hum behind you, that fan, that noise from your computer, the noise from the room around you. You want to get rid of it just to make your voice sound clearer. So you want to raise up that threshold until you're just at the room noise there. We're assuming this is the room noise for this example, although that is a YouTube video. So it really just takes the threshold and says, all right, we're just going to get rid of this noise to the best of our ability. And then, so see if we go all the way up here, you can see our output meter goes out. And that's one of the things I really like about the VST2 plugins is the live meters. So you can see if we bring that too high up, we're just getting rid of all of the noise. But if we bring it down here, if the threshold's below, it's not even going to touch it really. So without anything, meaning infinite negative dB, it's hitting about an output meter of about 18. As we raise this, it doesn't really start to affect it until the audio goes above the threshold. And then so it's trying to get rid of what's below. So this is a pretty easy one to use because you really just need to get this up above your room noise. But again, they do have these high pass and low pass EQ options in here, which is nice. All right, so that is our gate. Again, I always remember to write down what these are. So we've got our compressor, we've got our EQ, we've got our gate. The compressor's at the end of the chain, so we'll bring that down. The EQ is the second to last, and then we just need to add our noise suppressor, and we don't have a VST2 plugin for that. So we're just going to use the built-in option for OBS, the RN noise, which is good quality, more CPU usage. We've also got the SpeakX, which is lower CPU usage, but lower quality. All right, so we set up a standard audio chain to enhance our audio. The cool thing about this is once you've done all of this work, you can go ahead and turn it off, right? And see how it sounds without it. I challenge you to try to enhance your audio. If it's your voice, if it's your microphone, that's what we've been focusing on. Try to add these plugins one by one, see the effect, listen to the effect, and do it in this chain and see where you get, because I think that's a really powerful, popular way to enhance the audio inside of OBS. So VST2 plugins are great. You pretty much get everything you need, honestly. There are better plugins that are VST3 out there, but the free ones from Reaper, considering that OBS is free, they really work great, and for the most part, you're gonna get 99% of what you need. So I hope those were helpful. Follow along. Our next video is going to be about audio sync, so we can fully make sure your audio is perfect in OBS. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments below. See you in the next video.